Stop for a moment. Before you decide anything, watch this. This story didn't start today. Something here doesn't add up. Two members of BTS are being compared once again. This time, the discussion centers on their solo careers. Jungkook has achieved massive global streaming numbers with English-language pop releases. V has taken a more stylistic and genre-focused path rooted in jazz and R&B influences. The numbers are different. The strategies are different. The artistic choices are different. The question many are asking is simple. Does higher global visibility equal greater success, or does a distinct artistic identity carry a different kind of value? The debate did not begin with their solo albums. For years, both artists built reputations within BTS as strong individual performers. Jungkook was often positioned as the group's main vocalist, known for polished stage presence and broad appeal. V developed a reputation for his deep vocal tone and strong visual identity, often associated with artistic concepts and vintage aesthetics. When BTS announced a temporary pause in group activities to focus on individual projects, industry observers expected contrasting approaches. Those expectations quickly became reality. Jungkook entered the solo market with a clear global strategy. His single, 7, debuted with strong international promotion and widespread playlist support. The song leaned heavily into contemporary pop production, drawing comparisons to Western mainstream acts such as Justin Bieber. It was fully in English, structured for radio play, and supported by global marketing campaigns. Subsequent releases continued in a similar direction, culminating in his album, Golden. Golden reinforced Jungkook's positioning as a global pop act. The production involved international songwriters and producers with experience in the US and European markets. The sound was clean, rhythmic, and aligned with streaming-era pop trends. The rollout included high-profile performances, major media appearances, and strong digital platform visibility. The result was measurable. Jungkook's tracks entered global charts quickly. Streaming numbers reached record levels for a Korean solo artist. Industry analysts noted that English-language accessibility, playlist placement, and radio support significantly amplified performance metrics. In contrast, V's solo debut took a different direction. His album Layover embraced slower tempos, minimalistic arrangements, and clear jazz and neo-soul influences. The project was visually cohesive, emphasizing mood, photography, and understated production. Rather than focusing on explosive chart debuts, the album appeared designed as an artistic statement. The creative direction of Layover stood out in a market often dominated by high-energy pop. The tracks relied on atmosphere rather than hooks. Vocals were delivered in a restrained style. The aesthetic leaned toward vintage film tones and soft color palettes. This approach attracted praise from critics who value musical consistency and concept-driven albums. However, commercially, the results reflected the niche appeal of the genre. Streaming numbers were solid, but did not match Jungkook's global pop metrics. Industry experts point out that jazz-influenced and slow R&B tracks historically generate fewer playlist boosts compared to upbeat pop releases. Public reaction quickly split into two narratives. One side argued that Jungkook's higher numbers were the result of stronger promotion and mainstream positioning. Supporters highlighted the scale of his international campaign and the advantage of English-language tracks in Western markets. Another side emphasized artistic independence. They viewed V's work as more personal and less shaped by commercial expectations. Many praised his decision to avoid chasing radio trends and instead focus on mood-driven storytelling. Media coverage reflected this divide. International outlets frequently described Jungkook as emerging as a global pop star. Headlines focused on chart milestones and record-breaking streams. Meanwhile, coverage of V often centered on artistic identity, fashion influence, and conceptual presentation rather than pure numbers. Industry analysts caution against framing the situation as a competition. They note that success in the streaming era depends on multiple variables: language choice, genre accessibility, playlist algorithms, and promotional partnerships. English pop tracks statistically perform better in Western-dominated streaming platforms. Meanwhile, slower genre pieces often rely on dedicated fan engagement rather than casual listener traffic. The comparison also highlights a broader shift within K-pop. As the genre globalizes, artists face a strategic decision. They can adapt to Western pop frameworks to maximize global reach, or they can preserve a distinct artistic direction that may cultivate a more selective but loyal audience. For Jungkook, the impact on his career is clear. He has solidified a position as a viable standalone pop act in international markets. His streaming performance demonstrates crossover potential beyond the traditional K-pop audience. This opens doors to global collaborations, festival invitations, and long-term positioning in Western pop spaces. For V, the trajectory looks different but not necessarily weaker. His brand is increasingly associated with artistry, mood, and visual sophistication. This positioning strengthens his influence in fashion, luxury branding, and concept-driven creative industries. It also reinforces his image as an artist rather than a chart-focused performer. Within BTS's broader narrative, both paths may ultimately benefit the group's legacy. Diversified solo identities expand the brand's cultural footprint. One member captures mainstream pop momentum. Another reinforces artistic credibility. Together, they demonstrate range. The numbers tell one story. The artistic choices tell another. Streaming dominance often reflects accessibility and market strategy. Artistic distinctiveness reflects personal vision and creative risk. Neither automatically invalidates the other. At this moment, Jungkook stands as one of the most commercially successful Korean solo acts in the streaming era. V stands as one of the most stylistically distinct solo voices to emerge from a global idol group. The comparison continues online. Debates remain active across fan communities and media platforms, yet industry observers suggest that the difference is less about competition and more about positioning. Global pop success and unique artistic identity are not opposing forces. They are separate strategies operating within the same global industry. As both artists continue to develop their solo careers, the long-term impact will become clearer. Chart peaks may fluctuate, trends may evolve, but the contrast between mainstream expansion and artistic focus has already defined this chapter. For now, the situation is straightforward. Two artists from the same group chose different creative roads. Both achieved measurable success. The metrics differ, the styles differ, the strategies differ.